March 1880. A wave washed a half-dried piece of paper onto a beach in Scotland. A fisherman picked it up. The ink had spread, but one sentence could still be read. "I told you, I will be home tonight." There was no name, no signature, just that one sentence. The fisherman turned the paper over. He saw the date, 3 months earlier, December 28th, 1879. That night in Scotland, a train had entered a storm. Inside it were 75 people. None of them came home, but one of them, until the very last moment, believed they would. Who wrote this letter? Why did it never reach home? What had happened beneath the river for 3 months? The answer takes us 3 months back, to that night, to the storm, to the final 30 seconds before the bridge still stood. That night, between the carriages, there was a silent witness, dressed in black, his face hidden in darkness. No one saw him, but he saw everything. The Tay Bridge was, at that time, the longest iron bridge in the world, 3 kilometers long. It had opened just 1 year earlier. When Queen Victoria crossed it, she said the word magnificent. The man who built it, Sir Thomas Bouch, was knighted that same day. His name was spoken in every corner of Scotland. No one knew that from that day on, Bouch was counting his days, because inside the bridge, in a place no one could see, there was a mistake. A small mistake, but that small mistake was waiting for 75 people. That evening, a train left the village of Burntisland. 7 carriages, 1 locomotive. The driver's name was David Mitchell. The passengers were going home after Christmas. In the 3rd carriage sat a mother and her son. The boy was 9 years old. In his pocket was a small wooden horse, a gift from Christmas. That toy, in just a little while, would no longer belong to him. It would belong to the river. In the 5th carriage sat a woman with 5 children. In her pocket, there was a piece of paper. She had written something to her husband. She believed she would deliver it herself the next morning. In the 6th carriage sat a young priest. He was looking out the window. He was praying. He did not even know why he was praying. 1913. The train approached the southern entrance of the Tay Bridge. The signalman raised his lantern. Mitchell pulled the whistle. The train entered the bridge. The wind that night was blowing at over 150 kilometers per hour. A storm like this was rare in Scotland. The sea was black, the river was raging, but the train did not stop, because the people of that age trusted iron. They had been told, "This bridge will protect you." The bridge had 2 parts. The lower part, short iron columns. The upper part, a long iron tunnel known as the high girders. When the train entered that upper section, it could no longer be seen from the shore, only the yellow lights leaking from its windows. Inside, the woman rested her head against the window. The wind shook the carriages so hard that the infants began to cry. A man stood up. "Why aren't we stopping?" he asked. No one answered, because stopping was not possible. The train was already in the middle of the bridge, and in that moment, a sound no one could hear arrived. The screech of iron, the snap of bolts. The wind struck one of the columns so hard that the crack inside it opened, then the second one, then the third. The people inside did not feel it, because everything ended in 30 seconds. First, the carriages tilted, then the floor slowly tilted downward, then darkness, then cold, then nothing. From 30 meters above, into the coldest river of winter, 75 people. No one screamed, because the wind swallowed every sound. A man on the shore only saw the lights disappear. He heard nothing. It was as if someone had erased a sentence from the middle of history. Morning came. The storm ended. People gathered on the shore. They were all looking at the same place. In the middle of the bridge, There was a great empty space, as if someone had cut a piece out of it with a knife. The divers went down into the water. Below was the train, 7 carriages side by side. The windows were open, the water had filled the inside. The passengers were still sitting in their seats, as if they were still on their way, as if the journey was not yet over. This detail rarely made it into the newspapers, because it was hard to write. Why hadn't the carriages broken apart? Why hadn't the train shattered when it hit the water? The answer was simple. It was not the train that had collapsed. It was the bridge. The train had simply fallen, and with it, a generation had fallen too. Not all the bodies were recovered. Of the 75 people, only 46 washed ashore. The rest, the river kept inside itself. Some bodies were found weeks later in the far waters of the North Sea. Others were never found at all. The woman with 5 children was not found. The 9-year-old boy was not found. Only his wooden horse washed up on the shore. 1 week later, the investigation began. Engineers gathered the remains of the bridge, and there they found something. Small holes inside the iron columns. The quality of the cast iron was poor. The joints were weak. There were serious errors in the wind calculations. Sir Thomas Bouch had underestimated the force of the wind. By half. By half. Those 2 numbers were the death of 75 people. Bouch was called to the inquiry. He did not answer. He could not find the words. 10 months later, he died. Some said it was from illness. Some said it was from his conscience. March. 3 months had passed. The river had grown calm. The North Sea was slowly returning what it had carried. And one morning, beneath the feet of a fisherman, a piece of paper appeared, half dried. Ink faded, but one sentence could still be read. "I told you, I will be home tonight." Who wrote those words was never proven. There was no name, no signature, but in the pocket of a woman with 5 children who had been sitting in the 5th carriage were the very same words. That woman believed, that night, that she would come home. She had planned to deliver the letter herself. The next morning, that woman was never found. Only her words were found. The words crossed the river. The words returned from the sea. The words truly came home. Only the one who wrote them did not. The Tay Bridge was rebuilt, stronger, more careful. It still stands today. Every day, trains cross over it. People look out the window. Below, the river flows quietly. No one stops. No one remembers December 28, 1879, because the world knows how to forget. But some nights are not forgotten. What the 9-year-old boy wanted to say to his mother, and no one knows. Whether the priest finished his prayer, no one knows. The river swallowed them. It does not give them back, but they do not disappear. They simply wait on the dark shelves of time until someone opens them again. Tonight the Tay Bridge file closes, but on those dark shelves another story is already waiting. A letter, stopped before it reached where it was meant to go. A name erased from the records. A room whose door has been closed for 100 years. A night that no one speaks of. Every file has its owner. Every file has its final word. Every one of them is waiting to be remembered by someone. And the next time a file is opened, there will be a witness again.